Welcome everybody to a new Alchemy Stars video. And guys, today I wanted to talk about the new rate up banner and whether or not it's worth it to summon on it to go for these 3 units. There are 2 5-stars and a 6-star, and we're just gonna go through their abilities, their ascensions, breakthroughs. I'll give them each a score, and then we can discuss at the end of the video whether or not you should summon on this banner. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started right away. So our first Aurorian is going to be the 6-star Victoria, Big Booba. And so Victoria is a 6-star support for the fire type. She has water as her secondary type. And yeah, for her abilities, we have that her active skill is actually a 3-turn cooldown that deals 250% damage to up to 3 enemies within 3 surrounding clusters, and deals 250% damage when there is only 1 enemy in range, but this damage ignores defense, so it's true damage if there's only 1 enemy. Restores HP equal to 25% of the damage dealt. So Victoria is sort of your premium healer, I guess you could say, for the fire type, right? Because you also have Alice, but Alice is more of a traditional healer in the sense that she just heals you based off of her chain combo, while as Victoria actually interacts with your enemies, right? And she heals you through that same interaction with your enemies. So you're gonna want to, if you can, use Victoria for your healer instead of Alice, which is more like a dud in your team, in my opinion at least. So then we have her chain skill. So she has a 4 chain combo that deals 160% damage to 12 tiles in a diamond shape and inflicts 1 stack of bleeding. Then we have a chain combo 9, 175% damage to 16 tiles in a radial shape and inflicts bleeding, and a 12 chain combo that deals 180% damage to 2 surrounding clusters and inflicts 1 stack of bleeding, right? So Victoria is definitely going to want you to get some bleeding going on your enemies, and the reason why is because of her equipment. So her equipment says Victoria regenerates 2% max HP per stack of bleeding whenever her chain combo hits an enemy afflicted with bleeding, right? So basically the idea here, right, is that you can heal with your active, and also you can inflict bleeding on your enemies through the use of your chain combo, right? And then also on top of that, you can heal yourself once you actually use your chain on those enemies that you applied bleeding on. So right, it's a little ineffective in the sense that you have to hit your enemies with your chain combo twice for you to heal yourself, but obviously this is alleviated if you carry some other units with bleeding, kind of like nails, right? So moving on, I'm taking too long, I'm sorry. So moving on, we have her ascensions. So ascension 2 basically increases the final damage dealt to targets by 10% for every 1 stack of bleeding that they have, right? So this is basically an improvement on her active, right? So she heals more off of her active, right? Up to a lot more, pretty much. I think it's up to 55% extra. I'm not extra, but total. So that's very solid, because yeah, she deals up to 3 enemies, so she can increase her healing for up to 10%. So that's a lot. Then we have her Ascension 3. This recovery effect is increased by 50% if the enemy's HP percentage is higher than your team. So basically this improves her equipment, right? And if you hit enemies that already have bleeding, right, with another chain combo, or with a chain combo from Victoria, right, and that enemy also has more HP than your team, then you recover a lot more health, right? It's a little bit of a stretch, right? It's a little bit niche, but it's going to come in clutch in certain risky situations probably. Then we have her breakthroughs. I'm sorry about the colors, I totally forgot to change these colors. So breakthrough, so her BT3 is an active skill enhancement that increases the damage to HP conversion factor by 10%. So definitely not worth it, I don't think this is worth it at all. It's just 10%. She already has it built in her ways to increase her healing, right? So I definitely don't think that her BT3 is worth it at all. Then we have her BT6. It's also another active skill enhancement that deals damage to the 3 nearest enemies. So basically she eliminates that 3 surrounding clusters restriction, right? I think it was 3 surrounding clusters. Let me check super quick on her active. To 3 enemies within 3 surrounding clusters. Yeah, so instead of 3 surrounding clusters, it's actually 3 nearest enemies. Again, definitely not worth chasing 4 dupes for that, especially considering she's a 6-star. Absolutely not. So I don't think you should go for any dupes if you already have Victoria. You should be happy and chilling. She is a 9 out of 10 in my opinion. The only thing keeping her from being a 10 out of 10 is just we need more characters that can apply bleeding. Right now there aren't enough, right? All spots in your team are already pretty contested, right? Because you know, converters obviously. So yeah, we definitely need very useful units that can inflict bleeding. So one more thing that I want to mention before we move on is that even though she's a support, she can hit very hard, so keep that in mind. Then we have Cuscuta. So Cuscuta is actually a 5-star Forest Aurorian. She also has Forest as her secondary type. She's a sniper from Umbraton. And so for Cuscuta's active skill, she has a 3-turn cooldown that selects one enemy within 3 surrounding clusters and deals 450% damage to it. If the enemy occupies a single tile and can be knocked back, moves it to the selected position within the range of attack, right? So this wording is a little bit tricky. What it actually means is that if you use your active on an enemy that only uses 1 tile, you can actually teleport that enemy to a different tile within 3 surrounding clusters, right? So she's kind of like a reverse teleporter in that sense, which is a niche, it's a nice ability to have sometimes. You can just basically, instead of repositioning yourself, you can reposition your enemy, which is definitely a lot less useful than repositioning yourself, obviously, right? Because if you reposition yourself, you can actually put yourself close to forest tiles so that, you know, you can inflict more damage with your auto attacks, with your chain combo, while as repositioning your enemy is probably just going to put them in a slightly more favorable position, but not by a long shot. So then we have her chain skill. Her chain skill, she has a 5 chain combo that deals 135% damage to 3 enemies within 3 surrounding clusters. Then we have chain combo 9 that deals 140% damage to 4 enemies within 3 surrounding clusters. And then we have a chain combo 13 that deals 150% damage to all enemies within 3 surrounding clusters. You'll notice that for a sniper, these percentages for her chain skill are actually fairly low. And the reason why, again, is her equipment. Because when a chain combo hits an enemy, inflicts 1 stack of Dismember Mark. This Dismember Mark can stack up to 5 times. Each stack of Dismember Mark increases Cuscuta's damage by 2%. So you can stack your these marks and increase your damage by up to 10%. And because of the way that this is calculated, right, it means that your chain skill is probably going to end up dealing a lot of damage, especially as you ascend her, and we're gonna see why. So moving on, we have her Ascension 2. Her Ascension 2 enhances her active skill. When a chain combo hits an enemy, inflict 1 stack of Dismember Mark, right? Stacks up to 5 times each stack of Dismember. We just read that. So normal attacks have a 30% chance to inflict 1 stack of Dismember Mark, which is very useful, because that means that you don't depend only on your chain combo for your chain combo to deal more damage, right? You can actually get some stacks off of your auto attacks, and that's just going to overall improve it's going to improve your chain combo quite a lot, right? So yes, moving on, we have, I'm not sure why it says active skill. I was just thinking about that. Why does it say active skill? This is not her active skill. So anyways, so we have Ascension 3. Her Ascension 3 enhances her equipment skill. So if a target that has a mark is killed, it deals damage equal to 40% of Cuscuta's attack to enemies within 1 surrounding cluster. So this is obviously meant to be used in conjunction with your active skill. So obviously you just grab an enemy, you put it next to a bunch of other enemies, right? And it's going to have a mark, because, you know, when she uses her active on an enemy, she marks them. And then you just kill that enemy and it explodes. Again, very, very niche sort of abilities. Then we have her BTs. So her BT2 basically gives her preemptive strike, which is nice. I mean, it's always nice to have preemptive strike on teleporters, so preemptive strike on a reverse teleporter I guess is also nice, but definitely not worth chasing. And her BT5 makes it so that her skill is effective to all enemies. I'm not sure how to interpret this. I've seen two different interpretations of this. One is that she can move any enemy and not just enemies that occupy one tile, and the other one is that she just inflicts damage as if she was as if she had type advantage against all enemies. I think is that that she can teleport any enemies independent on how many tiles they occupy. I think, maybe, I don't know. Somebody please in the comments let me know. But either way, if it's one or the other, it doesn't matter. Definitely not worth going for her BT5. Absolutely not. So for her score, we have that she's a 6 out of 10 because her ability, even though it's unique, it's just too like niche. There really aren't enough situations in which you could actually like make this work. Like what could you possibly like want? You know, why would you possibly want to move your enemies around? The fact that you're also just restricted to moving your enemies around within 3 surrounding clusters is also a big thing. If she could move them like globally, it would still be too much of a niche ability, but at least, you know, like, I don't know, it would be a little more useful, I guess. Like right now, I guess you could maybe sort of perhaps make it synergize with Barrel, right? Like you put a bunch of crystals on the floor and then you move your enemy away from you so that they have to walk towards you and take more crystal damage, I guess. Yeah, it's just too niche. Definitely not worth summoning for. Then we have Leona. I freaking love this character. She's so cool. So Leona is a 5-star Fire Aurorian, also a sniper from Umbraton, and we have that Leona is actually her active skill, Blazing Funeral, has a 3-turn cooldown. All 3 Aurorians today have a 3-turn cooldown that deals 90% damage to 5 enemies to 90% damage 5 times to random enemies on the field, and launches 1 additional attack for each fire tile within 1 surrounding cluster of the unit. So she is basically Fire Vice, pretty much. Then her chain skill, Dragon Breath Roar, she has a chain combo 2 that deals 150% damage to 1 surrounding cluster. She has a chain combo 8 that deals 160% damage to 12 tiles in its diamond shape, and a chain combo 11 that deals 170% damage to 16 tiles in a radial shape. You see that Leona is also a sniper just like Cuscuta, but her percentages on her chain skills are a lot higher than Cuscuta's, right? Then we have finally her equipment, Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath makes it so that normal attacks have a 40% chance to trigger 1 red dragon attack that deals damage equal to 50% of Leona's normal attack damage. So 40% chance to inflict burn is absolutely not reliable enough whatsoever. So, you know, that's kind of a it's kind of an oof, especially because you can't improve that percentage in any way. Her BTs and her ascensions don't actually give you a higher percentage. I'm pretty sure, because her equipment, if you level up her equipment, I think it just makes it so that the red dragon attack just deals more damage. I think at equipment 10 it deals 75% damage, but it just doesn't improve her chance to inflict burn, right? So that sucks. That really sucks. If she could, if this was 100% or at least like 70-75% chance to trigger red dragon attack to inflict burn, it would be so much better. I don't know if it would be broken though, so yeah, there's that. So we have her ascensions. Her ascensions 2 improves her equipment skill. Normal attacks have a 40% chance to trigger 1 red dragon attack that deals damage equal to 50% of Leona's normal attack damage, and inflicts 1 stack of burning for 2 rounds, right? So yeah, pretty much. Wait, is it pretty much what we just read, or did I just skip something? I'm pretty sure it's what we just read, that right? Oh, okay. So her equipment on Ascension 0, I'm sorry, on Ascension 1 just doesn't inflict burn. I was talking as if it did, but it doesn't. So on Ascension 2, her her normal attacks, whenever she triggers the red dragon attack, actually inflicts burning for 2 rounds. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Then we have her chain combo, her Ascension 3, that changes her chain combo, and basically what it does is that each stack of burn increases chain combo damage by 5%. But again, since her chance of inflicting burning is so low, it's just 40%, makes it so that this Ascension 3 enhancement is not as much of a big deal as it could be, right? Unfortunately. Then we have her BTs. So her BT2 makes her have a preemptive strike, which is very, very, very nice. Absolutely, you guys know that device with preemptive strike is very good. It's very nice to have, and so obviously this is going to be very good. Definitely worth if you have Leona in your team, or if you want to put Leona in your team, definitely worth getting that BT2. For BT5, increases base attack count by 1 and increases additional count range to 12 tiles. So I'm thinking what this means is that instead of just one surrounding cluster counting red tiles to increase her attacks, right, like her sniping attacks like Vices, it just goes up to 12 tiles instead of, like, I think it's 8 in one surrounding cluster. So, you know, just a few extra attacks, it's nice, but definitely not worth going for BT5. Absolutely not. And finally, we have her score. She is an 8 out of 10. She's very solid. The only thing is that if she could just inflict burning a little more reliably, she would be so much better. But as it stands, she's an 8 out of 10. You can absolutely fit her in your team if you don't have Sinsa, if you don't have Sharon, if you don't have Jonah. Absolutely, she is going to be very, very, very solid in your team. She is a very good sniper, and yeah, but she's definitely not at the level of Sinsa, Sharon, and well, I don't know about Jonah, but Sinsa and Sharon definitely not. So if you have those two, not really worth putting her in unless you want a lot of DPS. But she is a really cool character. I love her animations, they look amazing. And yeah, guys, so final verdict for this banner. I think if you don't have Sharon and you don't have Sinsa, or if you don't have one of the two, 100% worth it. If you have both of them but you don't have Victoria, I think you should still go for it if you don't have Leona or Cuscuta. But if you have Leona, Cuscuta, and you just don't have Victoria, I would say maybe do 1 or 2 multis, but don't go too deep into it, because you're just gonna pull dupes for Leona and Cuscuta, and that's not gonna help you a lot, especially if you already have Sharon and Sinsa, so because you're just not gonna fit Leona into your team, and Cuscuta is not that great. You have stuff like Hero, like Migard, like, yeah, Forest is just 2 stack. We have Paloma now, so yeah, Forest is 2 stack, definitely not worth summoning for Cuscuta at all. So yeah, guys, it's just really gonna depend on your account and when you have, what you don't have. But I would say when it comes to dupes, trying to summon for dupes, only Leona with her BT2 would be worth it. I wouldn't recommend going for BTs on Victoria or Cuscuta at all. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, leave a comment. What do you think? Did I get anything wrong? Because I know I will. And subscribe if you like more videos like this. I'll see you guys